Hello there. I'm continuing with my game analysis from the Garesnica Open. As you can see, I'm still in the hotel, but I will schedule this video to be one a day, so not to overload the channel. So it's possible that when you will be watching this, I will already be at home. Anyway, this is the second round. I played against strong player, and you will see why she's so strong, even though her rating doesn't look so impressive. She's a woman candidate master, national candidate master from Croatia, and uh, and as you will see in this game, I had a better position, and this might be the best game I have ever played, but it was not enough to win, and it was very complicated position in the end, with positional advantage on my side, even -3 according to the engine, and she has only 1 minute on the clock, so she was basically the last 20 moves or so she was playing just on the increment, and I had like 25 minutes. So she managed to hold the very difficult position just on the increment, and this was really impressive. You know, to see that someone makes move after move after move, holding the position, defending the position, and only with every time she got like 2 or 3 seconds on the clock, and then she would make a move and so on. So it was an impressive experience, and I think I played this really well. But yeah, like I said, I liked this technique on the end, and it wasn't enough to win the game. Okay, so let me show you the game. She opened the game with d4. I played my usual, so d5, c4, and now I'm going for the Queen's Gambit decline setup, so just e6, knight f3, knight f6, nothing fancy here. She played knight c3, I played bishop e7, the normal developing moves, e3. Okay, this was the first move I was surprised, because usually you don't want to lock this bishop out. Usually you want to play bishop to f4 or bishop to g5. A friend of mine who knows this player from before, she said that she often plays bishop to f4, but she decided to close the bishop with e3. So it was a surprise, but a pleasant surprise, because now I don't have to deal, with the bishop, with the active bishop. So I castled here, and she played bishop to d3. So in these openings, usually when the bishop moves, then I like to take this pawn. So I just took the pawn. Bishop has already moved, so she has to spend 2 moves taking the pawn. This is a typical idea. So she took the pawn, and now I played a6. a6 is also a typical idea after the bishop is here on c4. So this threatens b5, expanding on the queen side, and also allowing me to fianchetto the bishop, if she allows. If she doesn't allow this, then I have to play for the plan B, and she didn't allow b5, so she played a4 here. So plan B is to just play very actively in the center. So this means immediately striking with c5. Now, okay, I'm challenging the center, and also now I can develop my knight on c6, because now it will be behind the pawn, so I don't need to it's not necessary to develop on d7, which is a little bit less passive. I can, if I want, I can develop the knight on c6. So this is the advantage of playing c5. She castled here, and now I decided to break the tension immediately, because this pawn is not actually so good, because usually you don't want to break the tension if your pawn has 2 moves and 2 legal moves, and another pawn has 1 legal move. And here it's vice versa, if you see. So her pawn has 2 legal moves, and my pawn has only 1 legal move. So I decided just to challenge the center. I mean, just to break the tension. So I just took here, and now she has she's facing the decision. So she can either take with the knight, which would lead to an interesting game. This would probably allow me to play e4, maybe even immediately. So this is one option. And another option is to take with the pawn and play with the isolated queen's pawn. And she decided this option, e takes d4. And now she has isolated queen's pawn. And now how to play this position. So I spoke about this many times on my channel. So when playing with isolated queen pawn or against isolated queen pawn, everything is about this square in front. You need to control d5. So both sides want to control d5. And you can see that well, this setup is good for white, because white is already controlling d5, and also this queen is controlling d5. So yeah, he has very good control. My goal is not to give him the control over d5, because I don't want to allow him to push for d5. So this is basically the idea, not to allow your opponent to play d5 push. And also, ideally, you want to exchange minor, if you are playing against isolated queen's pawn, you want to exchange minor pieces, because if you exchange all the minor pieces and only the heavy pieces are left on the board, then it's very easy to put your heavy pieces on the d file and just attack this weakness. So you want to exchange pieces. If you are playing with the isolated pawn, isolated queen pawn, then you don't want to exchange pieces, and you want to have your minor pieces on the board and keep them as active as possible. And I think she didn't play this position very well, because her pieces were not so active, and I managed to control this square, as you would see throughout the game. So now I played immediately knight to d7. Why? Because I want to transfer my knight to b6 and then put my knight on d5, which is ideal. So if you have isolated queen's pawn, this is an outpost. So you want to put the knight here, and also the knight here stops the advancement. So any piece here stops the advancement. So this is why in this position I decided to go on d7 and not on c6, which would be more active. Okay, she played rook to e1, and now I played knight to b6, so hitting the bishop, and also wanted to come here. She retreated the bishop, and I came to d5. So my knight is here. If she decides to take the knight, I can take back with my knight, so again having the knight here. If she decides to exchange further, I can have my queen here. So all the exchanges will end up by me controlling this square and not allowing her to push the pawn. So I'm fine with this. And she almost got away with this position. I was very happy, and then she played bishop to g5, which is now very tricky, because I believe she has a variant here to push the pawn and to get rid of this weakness. So, for example, let me try to remember. So I played h6 here. So she could have played, for example, bishop takes. Okay, I will probably play bishop takes, something like this. And now she can take, and what can I do? I have to take it to the pawn. Yeah, and now we both have the same weakness, so the weakness is gone. So I believe, I'm not sure if I could do anything else, but I believe that in this position she had the opportunity to get rid of this weakness, and she didn't take it. So yeah. So instead she took the knight with the knight, and I was very happy. I took back with the knight. She took the bishop, and I took the bishop with the knight. So controlling all the time d5. So now d5 is controlled 3 times, and also the 2 minor pieces are exchanged. So she's doing me a favor. So right now I have a much more pleasant position. Okay, so the game continued knight to e5. Okay, so this is a very annoying move, because you can see that this knight will be here forever. I cannot play f6. First of all, because Ben Feingold is forbidding to play f6, never play f6. And the second reason is that this e6 pawn will be permanently weak. So you can see that if I play f6, then bishop and the rook are on the f6, and also there will be a pin here. So f6 is not a good idea, and there is actually no other way to get rid of this knight, which will be good for me, because if I attack it, for example, here, I will just have bad structure. If I attack it from here, from g6, then it takes, and then this pawn is again weak, and in fact it falls immediately. So yeah, this knight here will be annoying throughout the game. Okay, so here I was thinking a lot about what to do, and I really didn't like the position of this bishop, so I played b6 just to be able to develop my bishop. And she played the queen to f3, now activating the queen and hitting the undefended rook. And as far as I see it, here I have 2 moves, either a rook to b8 or a rook to a7, just to save the rook, and then the next move would be this bishop to b7. I was thinking a lot about, is this better or this better? This looks a little bit misplaced, but yeah, so does rook on b8. So I wasn't sure, and this a6 pawn is a little bit weak, maybe later. So I wasn't sure. In the end, I decided for rook to a7 because I like the idea that well, maybe I'm getting the tempo because at one moment I would like to double the rooks. So the rook will be here, and then this rook is already on the 7th rank, so the rook can come here, and it will be easier for me to double. I will pay the price because after I play bishop to b7, I have to retreat to the bishop. Otherwise, this rook is completely useless. So I lose the tempo, I get the tempo. It's probably pretty similar. She play rook a to d1. Now, okay, she's trying to control the d7 square, the d5 square, and she wants to push the pawn. This is what we know. And I have the same goal. So bishop to b7 not only attacks the queen, but also controls this square, and she cannot push the pawn. She here played queen to h5, and this is the first inaccuracy detected by the engine. The engine thinks queen to d3 would be better, just to control this even more. Queen to h5, I'm not sure what it does exactly, because this is well protected. I mean, I can make a mistake pushing the pawn, but yeah, there are no weaknesses here around the king, so I'm not sure what does it do. She probably had some idea. But okay, I continue to my idea, so now I play bishop to a8 because I don't want this rook to be useless. And you can see that this knight is very annoying because it controls the d7 square, so it's not very easy to bring the rook behind, which I would like very much. So I would be very happy to see some exchanges on the board, but yeah, it's not possible at the moment. So I guess she realized that this queen is misplaced, so she retreated the queen back. And also you can now see that my pawn is attacked, so this rook is guarding this pawn. If I push this pawn and just get rid of this weakness, then I have a problem because I'm leaving b5 square, and this could be a very nice square for her bishop. So I was reluctant. I wasn't sure what to do, and also I was watching for d5 push, and I wanted to activate my knight. So this is an outpost for the knight, and I jumped just on d5. If she wants to exchange knights for the bishop, I'm perfectly fine with this. So if she takes, I will take with the bishop, and I will, my piece will be on the d5 outpost, and it's fine. And also this move comes with a subtle threat. So the threat is knight to f4, hitting the queen and also hitting the pawn, which will be attacked twice. And if she allows knight to f4, this will lose the pawn on g2. So in order to stop it, she had to violate Ben Feingold's golden rule and play f3. And now this move doesn't make any sense because this is no longer x-rayed. But okay, it's a little weakness, and I like this bishop very much because it's doing its role. It's controlling d5, and it's a nice bishop. It's here in the corner, and it's a long-range piece. So now it's my move. I need to think about, again, can I improve my pieces more? And I decided to play knight to b4. And the reason is that, well, maybe I can force the exchange here. This knight is controlling d5. If she challenges this knight, I can always play a5, and you can see that then I will have two outposts, and I can jump between them. So it's very pleasant. I like having two outposts, because this pawn has gone far away. So after I play a5, this is an outpost, and this is an outpost. So I like this position very much, and you will see that this knight is very, very useful here. She played queen to d2, challenging my knight, so I played a5. And yes, I'm now allowing her to play bishop to b5, but I don't really care. It's not that I don't care, because if her bishop was on b5, I have to be very careful about these ideas, For example, knight to c6 would fork, and so forth. Even knight to d7 is an option. So the knight is hitting these two squares, and if I allow bishop to come here, well, these squares could be a little bit critical. So I have to to be careful. But for now on, the knight is and the bishop are controlling the c6, and this is also well controlled for now. So I can be happy here. She now played rook to c1, taking control over the open file, and I decided not to give her control, but I played rook to c7 instead. Now she had the opportunity to exchange rooks and then to challenge my queen. I was thinking about this, and I don't see any big problems. The queen can slide back, and then this rook can come here later. I'm not sure what I was thinking, so let's see. If she takes. Okay, so this is the critical line. I think I was thinking about queen to d6, something along these lines, or maybe even a queen. No, queen to d6. I think I would probably play something like this. Okay. Anyway, she didn't play this. I wasn't worried about this at the moment, so I played this, and she didn't play, but she went with bishop to c4. So she wants to go to b5. Okay. So now I'm seizing the opportunity to double my rooks on the c file. So I have to move the queen away. So I play a queen to e7. So I'm thinking that my rook has to be protected. I'm also keeping in mind that I want my pieces to be on the light squares, so they cannot be attacked by this light square bishop. And this looked like a very nice move, defending the rook. This rook will come here and so on. So I was, I was happy with my position. She went on and played this bishop to b5, and now, this bishop has an outpost. It looks strong, but actually it's not so strong because, the bishop is hitting this e8, which I don't need because this line is closed. And when I doubled the rooks, which I did, so I played rook to c8. I mean, this bishop cannot challenge my rook. The bishop cannot go here. The bishop cannot go here. And this a6 is nicely protected by the knight on b4. So this bishop looks something, but it's not really. And as you will see, I will easy exchange the bishop, which I want. I want to exchange all minor pieces. So here she played knight to c4, and now she's hitting my pawn here. So it's a little bit annoying. But I have this other outpost. So this is the nice thing of having two outposts. Knight can jump either way, and now the knight from d5 is just holding the position together. It's protecting b6, and I don't have to worry. I don't have any weaknesses. Rook to c2. So now she wants to double the rooks here. And I wasn't sure what to do, so I tried to challenge her rook. And right now she was like she had maybe 2 minutes on the clock, maybe 1 minute. So she was mostly playing on increment from this moment on. And this is, let me just see how many games. How many moves? 52 moves. And this is move 27. So she played like how much? 25 moves. 25 moves on increment, and she didn't make some big mistake. So this was incredible. So of course, being low on time and seeing that her position is that I'm the one with the initiative, she wanted to draw, so she just removed the rook back, and now again my pawn is attacked, so I have to play knight to d5, and now she brought the rook back. And if I were to play here knight to d4, she would go back, and this would be just a draw, triple repetition. But okay, of course, I didn't want to draw here because I had 25 minutes on the clock. She was playing an increment, and I have a better position, so I was playing, obviously, for a win. So okay, this is out of the question. So I was thinking what to do, and I saw that I can now easily exchange this bishop, so I mean, why not? So bishop to c6, she took the bishop, I took the bishop back, and now she played b3. Okay, everything is covered. I have doubled rooks. I have plenty of options. But the problem is that I was lacking a good plan. So when I was analyzing later with the computer and with myself, queen c7 was the move. Just creating the Alekhine cannon and just trying to forcefully break through this. But I just wasn't sure how to continue. So I decided to offer the exchange of queens. My thinking was that I will have the better endgame. There are still enough pieces on the board, so I can, it will not be drawish, even though we have the same amount of the pawns. She still has this weakness, and I will have active rooks, and she will have passive rooks. So I evaluated that I will be better after the queen exchange. So I offered the exchange of queens, which bought her a little time because, yeah, there is nothing much she can do. So she immediately took the queen, and I took the knight. Now again, I have these nice two outposts, and I have more active rooks. But this position is it's almost winning for black. It's like +2. At one moment even +3. So now the evaluation goes +2, +3. Sorry, -2, -3. So for black is better. But yeah, but it's not easy. You need to have a good technique and know how to convert this advantage of having more active rooks and so forth. So she played here rook to d2, protecting the pawn. Yeah, very passive play now for her. But yeah, she was playing on increment, so you cannot expect active play even on increment. So knight to d5, just stopping the advancement, and now she's activating the king to f2, and I played rook to b8. So my plan was, try to open a file just to activate my rooks more. Because if you can see here, I mean, yeah, I do have double rooks, but this is closed. So I have to open some new files in order for my rooks to become effective. So this is why I played rook to b8. This was the plan, and she played a knight to e5 here. She also has the outpost, and this is not technically the outpost, but since I cannot play f6, it's almost like an outpost. So now she's hitting my rook, and yeah, I just move my rook up, attacking the pawn. Now my rook is very active here, and yeah, I can double if I want, and so on. Here she plays rook to d3, wanting to exchange rooks, of course, because if we would exchange all the pieces, then it will be a draw. It's not easy to exploit the weakness of isolated pawn if you don't have any pieces. So you need two pieces to be able to exploit this weakness. And I played rook to c2. Now I'm just penetrating the position. The rook is on the second rank. So now I think the evaluation is like -3.2 or something. So the engine says I'm winning completely. But like I said, it's not easy to convert. King to g3 here, and now, according to the engine, I should have continued b5, and this makes sense. So if I want to play for the activity, I have to play b5, open the file, and then put my rook here. And then once I have these blind pigs, blind swines, whatever, if you have two rooks on the second rank, it's unstoppable. And you can see that both of her rooks are very passive. This is staring at the pawn, this is staring at the closed file. So this was the right plan for me. And for some reason I forgot about this. And my state of mind was I was completely red in my face. She was playing on the increment all the time. She has like 2 seconds after every move, which just killed my nerves. And I had enough time, but I was struggling so much to find some ideas, and I just couldn't. So I forgot about this b5. Now when I look at this is obviously the best move. But instead I played for the tricks, so I played g4, g5, sorry. And the idea behind g5 is if she allows it, this would almost win on the spot, because the threat is knight to f4, threatening checkmate here. So if the knight is on f4, this will be checkmate if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and attacking the rook at the same time. So double attack, and yeah. So I was playing for the tricks, and not just for this trick, but also I wanted maybe I could checkmate, here. The king cannot come back, so maybe I have some mating threats, or maybe I can force the king to h3 and then fork and so on. So I was looking for these kind of opportunities. And she saw this threat, in 30 seconds, and she played a rook e to d1, and now I don't have the threat anymore, because now if I were to play knight to f4, she can just simply defend the rook and the g2 pawn by just playing the rook here. So the threat is gone. Okay. So I played h5. I went on. And here I think engine still says like -3, but now my advantage started to go away because I couldn't find the right player. So she played h3 here. Now no mating ideas because her king has luft. And the move which equalized the game, this was like -2.5, and the move which completely equalized the game was rook to b2. So I was like, I wanted to do some pressure here. I don't know what I was thinking. I think I was still dreaming about this knight to f2 and this mate. It obviously doesn't work. So yeah, this is just a very bad move. This is like a blunder, which just cost me all my advantage. So the best move here would be, I mean, any move would be better. Even f6 here now works, because after f6 she has to move her knight. Where can she move the knight? Well, I think this is the only place, the only safe square, and then I can bring up my king, supporting these two weaknesses, and then look for b5. So any move here is a good move. Yeah. Instead of this move which doesn't make any sense. So this was some kind of tunnel vision. I mean, the game was already almost 4 hours. Now I'm also running out of time. Okay, I still have enough time. I have like 10 minutes, so it's fine with plus increment. She has 2 seconds, but yeah, I just made this bad move. So the whole game was played until this moment. I played a very, very good game, and now I don't have any advantage. Now she will just exchange pieces, and it will end up in a draw. So knight to c4 here, hitting my rook, which I didn't see for some reason, and now the only way to save the rook is to play rook to e2, and now she just is forcing the exchange of rooks, and now finally I play b5. But now it's too late, because I don't have enough pieces to exploit the weaknesses she has. And here I almost blundered the pawn. I mean, I did blunder a pawn, but it was temporary. So I was thinking, okay, she takes, I take, and now this is hit and this is defended. This is my thinking. And I didn't see that, well, the first question for a blunder check, what weaknesses do I leave behind? So when I play b5, I'm leaving obvious weakness on a5. So she took the pawn here. And I was like, oh great, now I'm losing the pawn and I will lose the game. But yeah, luckily I have a way to get back my pawn. But it was just luck. I didn't see this move. So the way is just, to take the pawn. She has to take back, and now rook to a8. Luckily for me, because I didn't see this, and I will get my pawn back. Otherwise, this pawn would win the game. So I almost lost. Okay, knight to c6, and now I just took the pawn. Knight to e5, again this annoying outpost. Knight to e3, I'm again playing for tricks, there's this fork, maybe something, and also there is a fork, and there is also the knight here with check and winning this pawn. So I was hoping, okay, she's low on time, and maybe she'll make a mistake, and maybe she'll see the fork, and instead of moving away the king, maybe she'll move away the rook. So let's say she moves away the rook, and then I can okay, this would lose immediately, but let's say she moves the rook here, keeping an eye on the pawn, and then I can check and take the pawn. So I was playing for tricks, hoping that lack of time she'll fall for a trick, but no, she just played very precisely. So king to f2 here, and I really don't have anything, so I have to come back. She plays g3. Now I'm trying to activate my king. She gives check. I'm putting my king up. She goes to c5. So she has these two outposts, hitting my rook. I saw this, so I played the rook here, keeping the pressure on the d4 pawn because she cannot move the rook. So still, I do have active rook. She has passive rook. This rook has to protect the pawn. This king cannot come to help because I'm controlling this with my knight. So my rook is active, my rook is attacking, and her rook is passive, her rook is defending. So I'm still better, but I just have, there are no pawns on A B file, so I cannot create any counter threats, and I have too little pieces to take advantage of anything, and I was really exhausted. So this is like 4th hour of the game almost. So yeah, she went back with this knight to e4, hitting the pawn, and now I finally play f6 to protect the pawn. She played queen to g2. I played h4 and just offered the draw, and she accepted, and this was it. If she didn't accept the draw, I could have lost this game because I was first of all I was so frustrated because I knew I had a better game, and I knew I had to win this game, but I didn't. So it was frustration, exhaustion. She's playing 25 moves. It's psychologically exhausting when your opponent plays 25 good moves on increment, and you have 30 minutes and you're struggling to find a winning plan in winning position. So I was very frustrated and tired. Like I said, no air conditioning in the hall and so on. So I offered to draw, and I was very happy that she accepted because I was, out of my stamina. So yeah, this is the game. Overall, I wasn't happy after the game. The friend of mine, he came, he saw the draw, he offered me a hand, to congratulate me on the draw. I didn't want to shake his hand. I was like, what's here to congratulate? I just blew up a winning position. But now when I slept over it, I think I played a really good game. It was just that my opponent was better, and yeah, she just played this very well, and I did my best. I played a good game. I was better out of the opening. I was better in the middle game. I had end game with a better position, but yeah, I just like experience and skill to convert these kind of positions. Okay, this is it for round 2. Stay tuned for round 3, and see you soon. Cheers.